Hey, what's up, Team Flynn? Happy Monday, happy holiday week, I guess. Hi, how are you? Sorry, that was a super awkward intro. Anyway, I'm just so excited because we have a lot of fun things to share today, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes on the launch of my new channel, Deep Pocket Monster, which is a new channel I set up for a new hobby and passion of mine that not only am I really excited about just to provide value and show up and have some fun, but also it provides a great experimental ground for us here to share what is working, what's not working, and kind of take you into my brain a little bit in terms of how I am going to grow this channel, goals, and I'm going to keep you up to date, not every day, maybe not even every week, but over time we'll definitely kind of report back and see the growth and check the analytics. And it's also going to provide even me and hopefully you as well, a lot of information for what is working so we can do more of what is working and less of what is not. And it launched yesterday. I have a lot of fun things to share. And this will even be a fun little sort of just brain dumping for my own personal sort of understanding of what has happened. Because I haven't really, how do you say, like summarized everything for myself yet. And I haven't really gotten into sort of celebrate. I'm very stoked on how it has grown so far, and we're off to a good start. And I want to share how it was done and take you behind the scenes and some of the research I've been doing and a lot of fun stuff like that. So anyway, super stoked that you're here. Thank you so much. Let's enjoy the show and welcome to the income stream. The income stream.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right. Once again, thank you again for being here today. We are going to be unpacking the numbers and the stuff behind the launch. The only thing I'll tell you up front is that I'm afraid to, no, I don't think it'll be a problem. I was gonna say I'm afraid to log out of my YouTube account. I think that I won't be able to see the chat like I would, but that's okay because I have the other chat coming in from Ecamm. I was worried about logging out of my main channel here to log into that one to show you some of the analytics and stuff, but I don't think that'll be a problem. If it is, I'll just pop back on and you'll see me in a minute. So cool. Welcome. We got Maple Points Bill. We got Self-Improvement Addicts. We got Stephanie, Pokey Knono, Pat. Thought I'd stop by and say hello. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you and the thumbs up. We got Peasant Uprising, Kathy, GTO, Wendy, Bernard, Carlos Taco, Sue, Ryan, Save Like a Bear. Let's see, Grandma Goody. Awesome. So we launched Deep Pocket Monster yesterday. It's been something that's been in the works for probably the last 3 months in terms of an idea. But yesterday I launched the video trailer as sort of just a teaser to get people excited in the Pokemon community. And I'm going to take you behind the scenes on what has been happening. New videos won't come out till January, which will be really interesting, right? Typically when you have a launch and you do very well, you want to follow that up. So part of my brain is like, oh, this actually did a lot better than I thought it was going to. And I'll talk about why in a minute. I should probably have some videos even before January. So we'll see what happens. But I had mentioned in the video that videos will be dropping in January. I think it'll be okay even if I do that. That way we can even provide more entertainment value into those videos and have it be something people are looking forward to after this really great start. But let me just give you a little bit of background here. Number one, I wasn't even into Pokemon until about 6 months ago. And then something happened in the community, in the Pokemon community, that blew it up even more. And then I ended up doing some research on some of the cards that I had just around and started to notice that the prices were skyrocketing. I started to dive into a lot of Pokemon YouTube channels, getting really interested, really loving what I was hearing, and just really was lighting a fire under me in terms of just something new to get excited and interested about. And of course, I think this is why a lot of hobbies, not just Pokemon, but a lot of hobbies are sort of coming and just kind of blowing up right now, because what else do we have to do, right? So that does beg the interesting question of, well, what's going to happen when things get back to normal? Is that going to affect the market or whatnot? It doesn't matter. And this is the big thing when you come up with an idea for a channel, is that no matter what happens a year from now, if the market were to go down, are you still going to potentially have interest in it? If are you still going to get up and get excited about this thing that you have a year from now? Might there be any scenarios where the answer would be no? And I started to think about this and I was like, you know what? The only thing that would stop me is just not having time for it. But I would honestly be really excited to continue this journey. And I think especially as it involves my family and my kids and an opportunity for us to grow and learn together, as well as just to kind of hone in on a new sort of niche, but with the skills that I have, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to keep going with it. So that's sort of litmus test number one, if you will, if that makes sense. Sean says, I pulled my Pokemon cards out of my basement 2 days ago. Yesterday, I learned about your launch. Coincidence? I think not. I think not. Bill says 2 switch pods in the background. They multiply. They do. They're like bunnies. Cool. So that's the first litmus test, because I think a lot of us do get excited about new projects and new ideas, and I see it probably 87% of the time. You start something because you're excited, and then after 2 weeks, it starts to get hard. You start to not see the results that you were expecting. You start to compare yourself to others who are out there, and you're like, wow, I can never compete. And then you start to go from daily to weekly and weekly to monthly, and then you kind of go back to where you were before and just have wasted time. However, if you know that you can continue to get excited about this, right? Remember when we talked about smarter goals, not smart goals, but smarter goals, ER, excited and a little bit risky. Those are the ER at the end of smarter goals, because usually you have, measured and attainable and time-based. I mean, that's kind of part of what the acronym for SMART is. But the ER is something that's really important. The E being something that you can get excited about, because even if things aren't going well, you can continue to have grit and go through and persevere. And then finally, the R, a little bit risky. And it is a little bit risky because I am saying yes to this, which means I am saying no to other things, right? But me as an entrepreneur, I know that if I can at least hone in those focuses on just fewer things versus 100 things, then I have a chance that likely it's going to grow and get to a point where I can see that this could potentially even pay me back in someday. The other thing about this was like, okay, what are the goals here of this channel? Is it to make a whole bunch of money? No. I think that, as always, and we've talked about this last week when I talked about my business failures, every time you create something, or at least this is me in my own experience, every time that I created something with the goal of making money, it has absolutely failed. I've shared examples of how I developed software. I spent $15,000 on a developer and it came back. It wasn't the way I thought it was going to be. And that taught me a lot of lessons that then influenced what ended up in my book, Will It Fly, about testing and validating business ideas before you launch them. That was number one. Number two, you're going to make decisions that aren't based on where you want to go. You're going to make decisions based on what seems to be the best economic opportunity. And that's interesting because we have to pay attention to those economic opportunities. But at the same time, if you only take and make decisions that are going to make you money, then you're completely removing the other part of this equation, which is, are you going to be happy? Is this something that is going to get you to do the work when it starts to get hard? So those are really interesting questions that I began to ask myself too. And as I look at my Pokemon collection over here, I'm like, no, I am new in this collectible, but I'm dedicated to learning more and understanding it more. And these are investments as well. So there is that sort of byproduct of the things that I collect and the things that I share can also increase in value and potentially make me money. But I want that to be a byproduct of what it is that I'm doing versus the initial driver for that, if that makes sense, right? Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience. I always say that, and that's no different here in this new channel as well. Finally, I started thinking even deeper about the why behind this too. And you know what? I thought it was really interesting when I made the connection eventually that every video that I'm going to create essentially will highlight a new purchase or a new goal that I have in that space. And let's say, for example, I order something on eBay. This video series that I'm creating is going to help for me and those who end up with these cards later, whether they be my kids or somebody I sell them to or whatever. They're going to sort of put a timestamp on the why behind that card. And I think it's going to provide a really nice story related to where the origin is of that product. And it could be as boring as just, oh, I just purchased it on eBay. But more than that, it's like, here's what interested me about it. Here's why I have it in my hands. And that'll provide a nice little timestamp for that card, which then my kids or whoever can watch later and kind of unpack the history of it. And I think that's really neat. And that to me is really exciting and a reason for me to continue to move forward with it. Anyway, I know you're interested to see the results. So we're going to go into YouTube now, and I'm going to on the fly here switch my account and just kind of pray that I'm still able to stream with you and all that good stuff. So hang tight. I'm going to switch accounts here. Switch account. We're going to go to Deep Pocket Monster. So this launched yesterday at noon. So what is that? hours ago. I'm going to switch the sound to come out of the Rodecaster Pro so that you can hear it too. And I'll put my headphones on and we can kind of look at this together. I do also want to dive into the launch video, and I want to give a big shout out to Dan Norton as well, who is maybe in the chat right now. I'm not exactly sure, but he and his team helped edit the video. So I gave him very detailed notes. I can even show you those notes if you want to see them, to show you how I was able to help an editor sort of take this vision that I had in my head and sort of put it out there, right? All right. So we just crossed 315 subscribers, which is insane to me. I didn't know that this, and I know, first of all, full disclosure, many of them are from my channel here. So for those of you who are just starting out, you're like, wow, Pat, you like whatever you do touches gold. It like turns into gold. Well, when you build an audience, one of the benefits of building an audience is they're going to be interested in even other projects that you have. Let me know in the chat if you're actually subscribed to this channel. There's going to be quite a few of you for sure. And this is something that many of you, even for example, I got a comment yesterday from April Roga, who went into this channel, left a comment and said, I don't even know what this is, but I'm here to support you. And that's one of the cool things about building an audience, no matter where you start, right? This reminds me of my great friend, Cliff Ravenscraft, who had started his online career doing a podcast for the show Lost. And every week he would come out with his wife, Stephanie, a podcast episode that would talk about their theories and some of the stuff that happened in the previous show, to a point where at the series finale, they were able to invite people over to their location in Tennessee or Kentucky. I can't remember exactly where he is right now, but he was able to have like dozens of people from his audience fly over to watch the season finale with him. And then many of those people have stuck around with him in his journey with then teaching podcasting with all of his other podcasts, and they follow him now and they pay for coaching and all this stuff. Like they follow him because they've built a relationship with him there, which is really cool. So thank you, Gail. Thank you, everybody. Stephanie. Awesome. It's just really cool that I have this room behind Deep Pocket Monster here in SPI where I can go, okay, guys, got out of there. Let me show you what went on and tell you what happened. And here's the rundown. And then, okay, let's go back, right? So we can kind of go and grow with this together, which is really cool. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, 315 subs. Many of them I know are indeed people who have recently found me who are interested in the Pokemon content. And the reason is because not just the comments, but I've gotten direct messages from people and people who I didn't even know were going to watch this, who actually have a little bit of influence in the space, actually ended up sharing it on social media, which kind of blew me away. Again, more on that later, but I want to introduce to you the sort of how, right? So I did pay somebody on 99 Designs to create a logo. This design contest, I believe, cost $499, and the design contest was very specific in terms of, I need a logo that looks like this, I need the font to look like this, here's what I want it to say, here's some ideas, and go. And what happens on 99 Designs is 99 Designs, you can either hire individual people to design your logo, and for the switch pod, this is the switch pod here, an invention that my partner and we had this logo design. I don't know if you can see that or if it's going to focus. Focus. It's probably not going to focus. Okay, that didn't work, but it's okay because things don't work all the time, but you got to keep going. So anyway, the SwitchPod logo was actually designed by an individual designer that we found there. That's one way to go about getting a logo design, but that's a little bit more expensive, but we found somebody with a portfolio that matched the sort of style that we wanted. The other way to go about it would be to do what's called a design contest, where you put up your specs, and there's actually a really cool process where you choose from other logos that exist to get a style, and then the designers who choose to then create a design for your project, they have that to work with and then come up with a design. And then they put them all up there and they kind of go, here, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then you can sort of eliminate them and you can kind of vote on the ones that you like best and ultimately choose the winner. So I had about 10 to 12 different designers create sort of like rough ideas of what I might want. And then I picked one and that person then created like the main one, right? Which was really cool. Poke Kinono, good to see you here and good luck on the channel. Yo, Julian, thank you. Great. It was good to see you yesterday in Rev's channel too. Anyway, I see Julian is even coming in from the Pokemon community as well. Anyway, I'm giving a rundown and behind the scenes of the launch of Deep Pocket Monster yesterday. So incredible that we had such great results, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about my approach. So the logo, I definitely got designed by a designer from 99 Designs, and then I opened up and created a YouTube channel. had it as my avatar, put artwork here. I don't have an explanation yet on what the channel does because I'm still trying to find my voice. And so I just have the logo there, coming January 2021 with Pat Flynn. And then it was all about that trailer video and getting involved in communities. And I had been doing this for the last 3 months. Anybody who is coming from those communities, you might know that I've been showing up regularly on live streams and interacting with people and asking questions and offering value and just joining the conversations. Never even coming in at all to go, hey guys, my name's Pat. I'm about to create a YouTube channel, so I'm here to just learn more. Never even mentioning a YouTube channel was coming. And I think that's really key because, again, when you start to dig your well and you're already thirsty, it's too late. You need to dig your well before you're thirsty. What does that mean? That means that when you do anything, it's all about relationships, right? And if you start building relationships, like if you were to reach out to somebody who maybe you don't have a deep relationship with them, or maybe you've, it's been a long time and you haven't really kept up that relationship. Maybe if you reach out to them and you're like, hey, I have a new YouTube channel I'd love for you to check out. They're like, oh, hey, wow, it's been so long. And you're already like pushing me towards something that you're doing. Like, what about a catch up? Like, can we just talk, right? It's kind of off-putting if the only time you say hello to somebody is when you need something, right? That's digging your well when you're thirsty. It's too late, right? If you can spend time building relationships with people first, understanding what they might need help with, serving them. Serve first is always the way that I want to approach business. Then you might magnetically start to attract people who are now interested in what you're doing. And that's exactly what happened. This is a very similar story to, many of you know Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek. Big shout out to Tim. He and I have become good friends. I haven't messaged him in a while, and this conversation is reminding me to just check up on him and maybe wish him a Merry Christmas. But anyway, when he launched his book, he did the exact same strategy. He went to conferences with this book already having been written, and he didn't go to conferences to meet people so that they would find out about his book. Not directly. He went to conferences to go and learn as much as he could about everybody else who was there. And I remember a conversation specifically with one of my mentors who had met Tim Ferriss, who said that Tim was probably the most interested person in our business. And I was like, that's so weird because Tim, obviously he's in the stratosphere in terms of business and personal brand and stuff. But when he started, he got so deep into trying to be so interested in what other people were doing that they couldn't help but be interested and then ask what he was up to. And then eventually when he started sharing that, people were like, whoa, are you serious? 4-Hour Workweek? Because that was a headliner. That was an eye-catching title, right? And then people start to go, well, tell me more. And okay, now he has permission to share this stuff, right? One of my coaches, James Schramko, said, we need to stop trying to be so interesting and start getting interested, right? I think too many of us online go, look at me, here's all my credentials, and like, here's why I'm better than the other guy, and like, this is why you need to follow and subscribe, versus, hey, like, tell me about you. What do you need help with? And when a person starts sharing that stuff, then you can match what it is that you have to offer with them much better. So start by becoming interested first. And that's exactly what I did in this space, right? I love that you jumped into community first without the goal of promoting. Ends up working out better for the people to root for your success. The other part of this is I knew this was not going to be an overnight success. A lot of people are going to go, oh my gosh, Pat launched a YouTube channel and already has 300 subscribers overnight, a video with 1,000 views, and he's not even a Pokemon expert, right? Again, I have a little bit of a benefit of having a brand behind who's kind of following along, and that inflates the numbers quite a bit. So just keep that in mind. I just want to be honest. But at the same time, I did go in and I started getting involved. I started going and becoming a part of PokeRev's live streams and asking questions to the community and getting involved and learning about people like Julian, like Jeff the Ref, like just so many people in there who I got to understand more. And Nick, PokeRev specifically, I sent him a message that was based on my experience here in video land and doing live streams all the time to help him out a little bit. And I like, it was as simple as, hey, Rev, I noticed your voice got a little hoarse at the end of your 7-hour stream. There's this little bottle called Entertainer's Secret that somebody told me about because I'm a podcaster and my voice is my business too. It's like $7 on Amazon. Here it is. And he was super thankful about that, right? Like, that was just a small little moment, and that helped us engage in conversation. And it was kind of coincidental that he'd actually already known about me and actually was a subscriber to my email newsletter back in 2010 when he was still trying to figure out what he was going to do. And I'm just very grateful that this sort of world works in that kind of fun way. But okay, cool. So let's keep going here. People here are so nice, and it's a warm and fuzzy feeling when I come to this community. Thank you, Melody. Yes, everybody here is amazing. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and that's the other thing. I didn't want to become somebody who I wasn't. And this was the other approach. And again, I promise I'm going to go into the channel. We're going to watch the trailer video a little bit, and I'm going to break down sort of why I said the things I said and where that stuff is coming from, and how all this is really influenced by just my involvement in getting in the community. Small creators were also a big part of this as well. Gosh, I have so much to just dump on you. I'm so sorry this isn't really structured, but hopefully let me know in the chat if you're getting value here. This brain dump of information is still helpful for you, and maybe you're getting a sense of how excited I am, and hopefully this inspires you to get nerdily excited. Nerdly? I don't know if that's a word, but that's okay. Just hopefully you can get excited too. Anyway, I started not just getting involved in PokeRes live streams and commenting on Leonhardt's channel. These are huge YouTube creators in the Pokemon space. I started to get involved with people like Polish Rob and Yizzy and a few others whose names you don't even need to know right now. But the point being that these are smaller streamers, like literally with less than 1,000 subscribers at the time that I found them. And they've continued to grow. And then I found out yesterday that Yizzy and Shivam, who are two people who host this video podcast called Poke Tea Time, who I've been involved with. I've been in the chat a couple times, again, just asking questions and offering value, saying things like, great show, hey, I'll be back the next time, and then following up on that. Yesterday on their Poke Tea Time, I didn't even know about this. Nobody told me. I watched their video, and around the 43-minute mark of this podcast, they're like, oh my gosh, we got to tell you about this new guy, Pat Flynn, who's in the channel. His quality of his content is amazing. We're just really cool to welcome into the Pokemon community. Again, out of nowhere, because I was involved in the chat, because I was seeing what I could do to help them, and I've engaged with conversations with them on Instagram. And again, it's all about the relationship, right? All about the relationship, which is really cool. And again, I just want to be part of what's inspiring me here is that every move I make in this new channel, I want to share with you, because I know that this is much, much easier to learn from somebody actually doing it versus just talking the talk. And I know that I've walked the walk because I have 12 years of business experience doing these things before. And no, I didn't know these things up front, but you learn about them over time. Now, implementing all the information that I've learned in a new channel, I can pass it on to you and hopefully help fast forward your success as well. So think about the smaller people in your space too. In fact, many of these people who I'm making relationships with now, I wouldn't be surprised if their channels exploded. And if I had that relationship with them ahead of time, great. Guess what? I've dug my well before I'm thirsty. And should I ever need something, I now have the agency and qualification permission, if you will, to even engage in a conversation about that later. But of course, at the same time, I don't want it to be a one-way street. If they happen to need something, and I know that especially people, there's another guy, Pokemon Radar, who I've gotten involved with, and that was through a relationship with somebody. So again, somebody who I learned about, developing a relationship with them because I'm providing value, I'm learning what they might need help with, and then going, hey, I see this other guy out there. Might you be able to introduce me? Because I really dig his content and I have some stuff that can help him too. And it's just like kind of getting involved in that way. So it's calculated, but it's purposeful and with service in mind. And I think that a lot of people get two out of those three things right all the time. And I think that using all three of those things, purposeful, calculated, but with service in mind, with those powers combined, we have Captain Planet, right? You speak the truth. Glad you joined the Poke community. Thank you, Poke Kinono. And it's really cool because I think I'm in a unique space where when I go in there, I'm actually putting, I'm not shying away from the fact that I have this channel. And we have a lot of people like Poke Kinono and Poke Kobe and Julian and Jeff the Ref who have come into here and are hopefully learning and getting inspired and learning more about me too. And we can develop a relationship here, which is pretty cool. 6 degrees of Pokemon, right? Cool. All right. Sorry for speaking so loudly and so quickly, but I'm very stoked. So let's say that you are an up-and-comer in your space. Have you looked yet to see who is on the new and noteworthy for podcasts in your category on Apple or on Stitcher or on Spotify? It would behoove you. Don't be a nincompoop. To go out there and find people who are even still at the beginning stages of their journey, because those people are likely going to be more excited about collaborating and partnering with you. Number 2, those people are going to grow. And if you can build a relationship with them now, you're going to grow with them, right? I think too many of us go, oh, what's the #1 podcast? That's my goal. And I think that's okay. Let's dream on being on Oprah. Cool. But in the meantime, let's get on those other shows, the C, B, and B plus shows that are just coming out who are more excited, and sure, you're not going to get in front of as big of an audience, but I guarantee you're going to get a better endorsement from that host who's building that relationship and trust with that audience, right? Cool. Keep calm and carry on. There we go. All right. I want to pause this to talk my kids and forget it's live. Too used to listening to podcasts, LOL. Oh, I went to pause this. That's funny. Cool. So let's watch this video and I'll share with you sort of where this is coming from. Now, part of what I knew about the research I did in this space, I did the market map exercise that I teach in my book, Will It Fly, where we talk about, okay, who are the people in this space? Where are the places that they are hanging out? And I know, for example, about the Pokemon Reddits, and I've been involved in there too, learning more about what people need help with. One thing I've learned that is very useful from getting involved in the Reddit channels, Pokemon TCG and Pokemon Collectibles and all these other, again, subreddits. So on Reddit, there are forums where people are very open about how they feel about things. Like that's the one thing that scared me about Reddit. But going into spaces that exist that I'm experimenting and doing research on, you get to discover what people are very upset about and what is interesting to them. And that's so helpful when you're creating something new, right? So for example, I noticed that all the pictures and videos on Reddit that had the highest quality got the most likes, got the most upvotes. And people would say, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Wow, I wish I pulled that card, simply because of how visually compelling it was. Number two, when people told stories, people felt that, right? When people told the stories of, a brand new set coming out, a set came out recently called Vivid Voltage, and then them going to Target to try and buy it and seeing somebody walk out of the store with 15 boxes, a scalper, and leaving the store and getting in a fight with them, the whole community getting involved and getting really upset for that person, with that person, I can now empathize with this audience. Again, I talk about this all the time in the business space. When you have empathy for the person that you are sharing with, it's going to be easier for you to connect. It's going to be easier for you to share the same language that they're going to resonate with. And it's going to be something that you can then provide some solutions for, right? So that's just one example of several of storytelling that's happening on the Reddit space where I can, in some way, shape, or form, at least just understand that. But of course, even address this. Might I be able to create a video about scalpers and how I feel about that? And, maybe a clickbaity title saying scalpers are good. I don't think they're good, but that would draw people in, right? And I don't know. There's some fun things we can do there, right? So stories sell, stories serve, stories are awesome. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go into this video really quick just to kind of share with you over 1,000 views already. I'm going to pause a whole bunch to share with you sort of my approach here. But the reason why it looks good is because I am purposefully going, how can I make these cards look awesome? Because right now, most Pokemon creators are doing the same stuff. They are pulling out their phone and they're unboxing these cards and they're showing them off and they look decent. Everybody has a phone now and like the quality is great everywhere. But how can I take that one step further? And thankfully with my video knowledge and some good team help, I'm going to show you the video and sort of what it looks like, right? All right, so am I showing up? Yep, I'm blocking it. I'm going to click on this and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Okay, so a few things to learn about just in that intro. Number one, I didn't say a word because I think that the people who are, this is my thought in this space specifically, and this might be counter to what I've often said before, the idea that, okay, in the first part of your video, you have to really connect with your audience. So what might you say to get them interested? Well, this is a unique space that's all about cards. And I wanted to show off some really good visually compelling cards in a way that people have never seen before. I want people to just, in the first 10 seconds, still have that reaction of, oh my gosh, this is different in a place for me. But I'm doing that through visuals here versus through, words, right? And then you'll notice that I eventually come in with some words that have nothing to do with me and everything to do with the viewer, right? Nothing to do with me, everything to do with the viewer. I don't even talk about myself until about the 1 minute mark, right? Because again, the whole purpose here of this intro is to connect with the person on the other end, to speak the same language as them, and part of this language is a visual language, and you'll notice how I say words like you. And you've heard me say this before, the more you can use words like you, and the less you can use words like I, the more likely you will connect with your audience, right? My favorite live stream chat comment was Pokemon ASMR. Yeah, Dan, I don't know, and Dan, again, if you need video help, go to Dan Norton here. He's right here. If you need, first of all, did you add in those sounds? I think you did, right? Or maybe that, or you just sort of exploded the sounds that were there to make them really, really nice. But it was really good. Pat's doing a channel review on his own channel. I am. So I'm going into the intro video, and I'll play that for you one more time. And again, hit him hard. I wanted some visually compelling stuff to start out with. So this first set here that you'll see, I mean, look at the bright colors in that. It's not even good quality right now because I'm streaming. But these cards right here are very now. They're in a set called Vivid Voltage, which I love Vivid Voltage because it's very eye-catching, right? There's some beautiful cards in that set. And I picked out the most beautiful ones that have a set that I already have to just like show right on the screen right away. And Dan probably put in that sound, right? That's right. Right? It's like almost like you're holding these cards with me. And then I have some, so that's new school. Now this is old school stuff. This was the second or third set that ever came out in 1999. This is first edition Fossil, which is old, right? So I have new stuff, old stuff. I want to capture people. I want to cast a wide net, right? People who are in it for the new stuff and people who are in it for the old stuff, right? Some weird stuff too. People don't often see these cards, but these are some unique cards of Pikachu playing soccer. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. So here's the visual stuff. Yeah. And then this is like the ultimate sort of base set thing. And then the moment that people sort of like can resonate with is the moment they find a card that they want, right? And then the little shake of like, oh my gosh, we pulled it. And then here was an interesting shot that used a really cool lens. I'm sorry I wasn't showing the screen. Here's a really cool shot of like the hallway. And then this is like the very first set that came out in 1996 in Japan. So anyway, I'm gonna stop, and I'm sorry I keep stopping and starting, but let's get into some of the words. And notice how much I say you. Maybe you love it because of the hunt. That feeling you get when you finally see the card you've been looking for this whole time. So maybe you love it for the hunt, and then showing visual examples of that in many different ways. Dan did a great job of what I like to call pattern interrupts, not just like one scene, but a few, right? Because of the hunt. That feeling you get when you finally see the card you've been looking for this whole time. Maybe you love it for the art. So super up close now. Seeing cards up close, and I mean really taking a good look at them. You start to appreciate them more and begin to realize that these are just more than pieces of cardboard in your hands. So look at that. When I talk about the artwork getting super up close, and this is again a very relevant card that people are, if you're into Pokemon right now, this is a card that you want for sure. Maybe it's because you have a goal in mind. And then this is the classic card that everybody wants. This one is not a great condition, but as you can tell, I didn't even show the grading of it because it's not a good grade, but I still showed it anyway. A need to complete a particular set or collection, perhaps because you want to own a piece of history. Look at that. I said own a piece of history. Now you're seeing Monk and his Scream, but there's like a really cool promo series that the guys over at the Pokemon Center came out with not too long ago, showing sort of artistic versions of this. And again, purposeful. What am I saying? What would best support what I'm saying? That's kind of the approach, right? Maybe it's because of the community and the need to connect with other people who feel the same kind of passion that you do for this hobby we call Pokemon. Or maybe it's more than a hobby for you. Maybe it's a business. So this screenshot that you're seeing right now, where I go into the phone, I was actually bidding on something, and Dan edited it to fit nicely with the music, but you'll see that I bid on something, I won it. That's like a moment in a Pokemon collector's life that is very, if you've bought anything on eBay ever, you know what the feeling is like when you've won something, right? And then I'm talking about sort of the business aspect of this, right? So let's play this, and you'll see that kind of happen on the screen for you. Maybe it's a business, a way for you to make money, a side income, or even potentially a full-time income. Or maybe it's because, and this shot here was one that took the most time, but it's only there for like 2 seconds. But this is my family, and we are opening a bunch of blister packs of cards, and this was the moment where my son pulled an amazing rare, and then we all kind of cheer. It's something that you can do together with your family, with your friends, and with people you don't even know on the... So that one I had my iPhone on a giant, like I just attached it to the ceiling fan and I just centered it. Other side of the world. Okay, now I'm gonna come in and I want you to notice how quickly I get into telling people that I'm not an expert. And that might sound a little weird, but I just want to be honest. I took the same approach when I built my food truck website that I sold earlier this year. And that was the approach of, hey, like I'm not a food truck expert. I've never even built a food truck, but you know, I'm interested in it and I'm going to learn as much as I can and share that information with everybody else. So that's one way that you might be able to kind of build a business, is to take people along the ride with you as you are learning. You can gain authority by becoming the person who essentially has the machete and is like blazing a trail for everybody else who also wants to learn too. That also is beneficial because it connects you more to the person that you're speaking to. Oftentimes you see people who are experts who just have a hard time really resonating with people because they're so far ahead of people who are just entering a space or trying to learn this stuff. And that's what we call the curse of knowledge. When you know something, it's really hard to know what it's like not to know that thing. Thankfully, in this Pokemon space, I am new to the space, and I'm not afraid to share that at all. But I think because of that, that's actually going to be a huge benefit to me over even other experts that are in the space, because I can have the same thoughts that my audience will have too. And, you know, if I say Pokemon names wrong, or if I don't even know the name of some of them because I'm reading Japanese cards, I'm not going to be afraid to just like be myself, right? My name is Pat Flynn, and for me, it's all of the above. Welcome to Deep Pocket Monster. Let me be straight with you. I love that. He definitely added those sounds there when I was like cutting the box. Let me be straight with you. I am not a Pokemon expert. There it was. Although that being said, I do know that a first edition base set Bulbasaur is not $30,000. I think we all know this by now, right? Okay, so that was a little joke there because not too long ago there was a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he is not very loved in the community because he sort of rubs people the wrong way, and is very flashy and kind of isn't really valuable, isn't offering a lot of valuable advice to the community. Anyway, he was on a live stream where he had claimed that a particular card was worth way more than it actually was. That basically just expressed that he had no idea what he was talking about. To his benefit, to his own benefit, you know, he was live, and it's, you know, when you're live, it can be a little hard sometimes to think. But he had mentioned that a card was worth $30,000. So I added in this joke because I noticed that in a lot of channels on Reddit and a lot of channels on YouTube, a lot of people throw in that joke, and it just, not just because it always gets a laugh, but because it shows that I'm involved in the community, right? Like here, I know about this sort of meme in this space as well. So that's why I added that there too. Julian says the 30K mention had me laughing. See, so Kinono and Julian here, who are from the Pokemon community, can feel me there. And that was like a joke for people who kind of are in the space a little bit. And for those who might not be in the space, it's just like, oh, okay, well, now I know that information, right? Although I'm fairly new to the space, like everything else I've done. So just a little explanation of like, why am I doing this? And, you know, now I also share the fact that I've been involved in the community. Like I said, my name's Pat Flynn. I have another YouTube channel. Maybe you've recognized me from comment sections and some of the other amazing content creators here in the Poke space.
The man, the myth, the legend is in the Poke Cave. It's Pat Flynn.
I'm an entrepreneur. I built a 7-figure. So sharing how I've been involved in the community. I'm just not like a random person starting a channel, but I really wanted to show, and I just actually pulled from Rev's live stream where he mentioned my name because I had purchased something from him, or even if not, I would have just kind of mentioned, I would have shown that I was involved in some chats to kind of express the same idea. Online business, I have a podcast with over 65. So this is the flex, right? I'm not going to pretend like I'm not flexing right here. I'm absolutely flexing. And it's really important that you flex with finesse. Let me say that one more time. You flex with finesse. If I were to come here and say, hey, I'm rich. I'm not rich, by the way. I'm continually improving my portfolios. I have financial security, but this word rich gets thrown around and it's different for everybody. So anyway, I'm rich in friends, rich in family, and financially secure, and that's fine. But I hate saying that I'm rich. I'm not rich. Anyway, if I were to flex and say something like that, yeah, look at these cars, look at these Lamborghinis. I read a book every single day, and this is my mansion. I don't live in a mansion, by the way. If I were to flex like that, that's going to come across the wrong way. You need to flex with finesse, right? Yo, Pokey and Fun, what's up? Good to see you here. Thank you so much for coming in. So it's really important that no matter what space you're going to be in, You need to somehow prove that you have something of value. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out and if you're just entering a space. What is your superpower? What is unique about you that you could offer? What is going to be something that people can go, oh, you know, hey, oh, Pat Flynn, he's that guy who blank. What is that blank, right? All of you should have an answer to that. And I think that's really important. But here, it's sort of flexing with finesse in the sense that, okay, well, here is some of the qualifications that I have. Here are some of my credentials. This is the equivalent of, to a website, scrolling down a little bit and going, also featured in Entrepreneur, Forbes, etc., right? If you've been on a guest on another person's YouTube channel or on another person's podcast, like include that there as well, right? Also been a guest on here, here, and here. Anyway, hold on one second. Just have to leave a quick message because I did not realize that we are so close to the top of the hour. Anyway, all right. So I just realized that, first of all, sorry to slow down really quick here. I'm going to continue to go through the rest of this video for you, and then we're going to finish up today. I'm going to finish up a little bit early because I have a meeting with somebody who's going to help me build a quiz that we're going to use in one of our launches next year. This is on the SPI side of stuff, and this is a very important call that I want to kind of prepare for ahead of time, so I apologize about that. We're going to continue this discussion tomorrow. So part 2, a lot of this was set up, mental sort of checking in with why, how, and the approach. Tomorrow, we'll talk about some of the results and some of the things I'm doing post-video going live, including making sure to be very involved with hearting comments and responding to every reply. If you're just starting out in a new space, you absolutely need to do that. Like for me, it's mandatory. And I know that this is going to take a little bit more time away from other things. But when you're just starting out, you want to make a great first impression. You want to have people feel like they belong. You want to have people feel like they're included and that they're being seen and heard, or else they're just going to feel like that handshake is left unshook. And that's not a great first impression. So we'll probably go for about 5-6 more minutes here. But again, thank you again, and I appreciate you. But flex with finesse, right? Flex with finesse. Cool. So let's keep going here. Million downloads. I've co-invented a physical product that launched in February of 2019 called the Switch. So this, again, might seem a little cocky, but you have to share something that gets a person to go, oh, okay. Like, okay, you have something to offer, or you have some experience that might be useful or interesting. Again, that you don't start out the video that way, and you don't go too deep into it, but you need something for a person to go, oh, okay, well, I'll stick around because this is a little different, or this is pretty unique, right? SwitchPod that made nearly $500,000 on launch. I've written best-selling books. I've spoken on stages all around the world, and yes, I'm now a collector and an investor in Pokemon cards. A lot of you might know Gary Vaynerchuk. He and I are actually friends. This is another part where I am sharing, I just so happen to be friends with Gary Vaynerchuk, but even if I wasn't, this next part that I'm about to share with you, again, supports this idea of starting the channel, and you'll see why in a minute. I've had him on my podcast before, and I should have listened to him, because he said early on, several years back, that the card game was hot.
Pokemon cards are outpacing sports cards. Get all in on Pokemon. Buy your first Pokemon for $60 after 25 hours of homework. Watch it go up to 130, then flip it. Take that 130, buy the next one, and 2 years later, you got something brewing.
He was right. And I'm a little bit late to the game, but you know what? I'm gonna catch up. So as you can tell, I love making these cards. So that was like, oh, industry proof that this is something worth following, right? Not just proof from me, but proof from somebody else. And you can always include things like that. Look great. I love telling great stories.
There's a Charizard.
I love just sharing everything I learn along the way. And so I hope that you'll join me on this journey and hit that subscribe button,
Call
and
to
of course the
action.
bell notification icon too, so you don't miss the first video that comes out in January. Because guess what? I've ordered and have paid for so much stuff over the last couple months. I've been obsessed with Pokemon. And not only do I want to share with you my investments and the cards I'm collecting and why I chose those cards and what I'm trying to do and how I'm going to make money from this, but I also want to go deep with you in the research, because that's what it's about here, going deep. I don't want to give you surface level stuff. I want to go deep with you. Thank you for watching this video. It's very strange starting a new channel. So this is like not in the script. This is just like, I always love, especially when you're launching something new, just kind of a, here's the pitch. Like I've just pitched you. Now just heart to heart, just let me just talk to you, right? And this kind of allows you to reconnect with people and be human. And so this is that part of the script here. Especially having had one for over a decade now over at Pat Flynn. And I'm excited. I'm excited to bring something new. I'm excited to take this energy from the entrepreneurial space that I've been in and put it here into the Pokemon world, and hopefully encourage some of you to think about entrepreneurship too, which is my specialty. So you can probably teach me a thing or two about Pokemon, and I'd be more than happy to help you out along the way with some business stuff too. So if that sounds exciting to you, hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in January 2021. Peace out. Cool. So a little heart-to-heart, just one more call to action. It then plays a video where a prominent Pokemon person was talking about me a little bit, just to kind of add a little bit more proof. But I want to show you really quick here before I leave. Comments, replies. Reply from Deep Pocket Monster. Reply. Hearts, 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 hearts. Let people know. And there's Julian. Was that Julian? Congrats, Pat. Can't wait to see what you drop your knowledge on the community. Thank you. So this is how we are doing it. And I'm going to keep the fire going for you tomorrow. So I'll tell you more behind the scenes. I'm going to take you into some of the numbers. We'll see how it performs on day 2. If the word continues to get out there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the future of this channel and how I'm thinking about, staying ahead of it and batch processing, and how I'm going to be crafting these videos, how I'm going to keep it efficient, and how I'm going to create boundaries around it as well, so I don't get too far into this and remove myself from other things that I've already said yes to. So there we go. So it's for people who are interested in the collections, and also who may also be interested in the investment side of it too. I'm going to do sort of a mix of all those things. But definitely storytelling is going to be a part of it, and visually compelling content as well. So, chat, I have to leave 10 minutes early to get ready for this meeting, but thank you so much today. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed getting a little bit of behind the scenes on my thought process in creating this brand new channel. And so far, it's doing really, really well. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. So, 315 subs, and we're going to keep the fire going. And I have a whole notebook of potential ideas that I can create for other videos. So, and I'll share more of that stuff with you tomorrow. But chat, we're going to end a little bit early today. Thank you so much for your time, and more on this, part 2 tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Sorry to leave so quickly, but as always, Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Thank you so much, Bill. I did see your message there. Thank you. I'm going to have that screenshotted and check it out for later. This is really cool. I'm glad I have like a new project I could share the insides with you for. So take care. Have a great day. I got the secret words in. Cheers. Take care. Peace out, y'all.
Bruh.